here with
Ning.
And where are you from, Ning?
I was born in Vietnam, but I grew up in Germany.
And we are still in Bansko today. The weather's got a lot worse. It's freezing. Summer's gone now. And back to the cargoes. I'm interviewing digital nomads just to see how they got into it, what they do, if they have advice for other people. So how long have you been a digital nomad for?
I've been traveling for 3 years now, and yeah, basically worked in a corporate job for like 5 years and then decided, hey, I want to see the world, and yeah, that brought me to Bansko.
So what corporate job were you doing before, and how did you manage to transition to being a digital nomad?
Yeah, so I was actually studying architecture, and during my studies I realized architecture is such a boring job, and in the real life job there's not a lot of creativity, and you know, the way that companies that you build houses nowadays is not very creative in Germany. So, and then I decided I'd transition to UX design, and I've been working for a design consultancy before, and that gave me the skills and ability to move remote after a while. That was really helpful.
So you were working remotely for like in a full-time job, or?
No, I was working for an American company based in Munich. So I was working first for a startup based in Munich, and then for that American company.
And you're still working for them now?
No, I don't, because at the time COVID wasn't around,
okay.
right? So companies were kind of traditional. You know, you had to be in an office, and and yeah, they didn't allow remote jobs. So, and then I decided to become freelancer to have more time to build my own projects, do my own stuff, and for some reason, like the whole pandemic really gave us a nice push for remote work.
Cool. So I think the problem a lot of people have with being a digital nomad is making that transition from full-time job to freelancer, or from remote working to freelancer. So how did you find your freelance clients?
Yeah, so in design, I mean, the most important thing is your portfolio. And when you worked in a job before, then you have connections, right? If you just finish university, and it's a little bit harder because you don't have the network. So I was fortunate that I knew some people, and after I quit, it was much easier to find people in the network that needed help. And then I just started working with them.
So the network was from people you already worked with?
Yes, yeah.
Great, and they didn't mind the fact that you no longer worked for the company and you'd gone freelance?
Yeah, because a lot of people also like left and did their own thing. So yeah, that really helped.
So it's mostly people that have all left. So you're not still working for the original company?
No, exactly.
Okay.
But then after a few months, the original company asked me to come back as a freelancer. And so
that's perfect.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you leave a company, leave on good terms, you never know. Always comes back somehow.
Yeah, I've got work like that. I was working full time, then I left, and then they gave me freelance work. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, don't burn the bridges.
And I said, exactly, yeah. So you went freelance. You stayed. Whereabouts in Germany are you from?
I grew up in close to Berlin. It's a small town.
I wouldn't call Berlin a small town, but
no, close to Berlin. And then I moved to Munich for my studies. Yeah.
So okay, cool. And then so you studied before you got a job.
Correct.
And then you got a job, and then you became a digital nomad after that.
Yes. So the transition to digital nomading is, I mean, at some point, you can never really prepare everything up front, right? At some point, you just need to jump and hope that if you put yourself in a position, then you will make it work. You know, if you want it hard enough. And I think a lot of people just want to travel and see the world, but they don't want it hard enough in order to make changes to their life. So.
Yeah, and you figure it out when you're on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you see your bank account like going towards zero, then you will definitely figure something out.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
Some kind of incident happening here on the street. So you did where was your first destination when you first?
Yeah, I consider myself as a very slow traveling nomad, more like a slow mad.
Oh, that's
And-
good. Did you make that up?
No, I didn't.
no, okay,
I
I've never
heard
heard
it
that
somewhere.
before. Okay,
But
that's pretty
I like the term because
Yeah, that's cool.
it's I don't want to get burned out, you know. Like
Yeah,
move
I
every 2
agree
weeks.
completely.
It's tiring. So I moved to Thailand, a very typical destination at first.
A good one
li-
though. I think it's a great
It's
first
nice.
destination.
I mean, yeah, that's the reason why it's so popular.
Exactly.
Where was I?
So you moved to Thailand.
Yeah, I moved to Thailand. I stayed there. I was planning to stay in every country for 3 months, and then I met my girlfriend in Thailand. She's American, and then I got stuck in Thailand for a year, and then we decided to travel together.
So this was pre-COVID, I guess, wasn't it?
That was pre-COVID. That was 2019, and then we left December 2019. Arrived in Vietnam. Planned to stay there for 3 months, then go on to Malaysia, and then back to Europe, and then we got stuck in Vietnam for almost 2 years. And so
Was that COVID related, or you just
COVID related.
Yeah.
Vietnam was really good though. Yeah, for a long time Vietnam was really good.
So when did you say you arrived in Vietnam?
December 2019.
Okay, so that's just before COVID really started
Yes.
kicking off. isn't it?
Yeah. And it's crazy. A friend of mine, we were in Da Nang at the time, and they detected 2 cases at the airport, and everyone was starting to buy masks. And my friend was like, well, "What is this thing? Like, should we buy masks?" Everyone's buying masks. And I'm like, "I have no idea." And then a month later, we went into full lockdown. So, and,
Wow.
yeah,
But the
Pretty
lockdown
fast.
in Vietnam was okay.
it was pretty intense though. Vietnam is really, once the government says something, people are like.
It's quite authoritarian, maybe.
Yeah. So the lockdown, it didn't because last year the measurement was really strict. The lockdown itself didn't last long, only for 2 or 3 weeks, and then everything went back to normal.
Okay, we're just walking to the bus station here, so we'll just take a quick pause, and then we'll resume the video afterwards. Okay, we went to the bus station, found out some bus information. Here is the beautiful communist piece of architecture. Okay, so we were talking about being stuck in Vietnam
Yeah.
during COVID.
Exactly. So Vietnam was really good. Last year, it changed very quickly. This year, the cases went up during the summer, and that is why I decided to leave. And yeah, now I'm here in Bansko.
So did you have to leave? Did the government tell you to leave, or you?
My visa was running out.
Right.
So in May,
What visa did you have actually?
I had a visiting relatives visa. It's a
okay.
special visa for family members. It's valid for 6 months at a time, and since last year we just kept extending month to month, and that was really draining because it was also very expensive.
Month by month, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, because the Vietnamese government, like compared to other countries, like I think Thailand give like tourists like a free visa extension. And in Vietnam, they decided to charge like $80 to $100 a month.
And this is just a COVID thing, or?
Yeah,
Who
that's a
knows?
code. Normally it's like $25 or something like that for 3 months. So that was really interesting to see.
And where did you head after Vietnam?
Yeah. So after Vietnam, I came to Bulgaria. Always wanted to visit Bansko. Heard a lot of things about the co-working space, and decided to come here, check it out. I was a little bit afraid of the winter. I mean, it's cold. I have gloves here.
But you're from Germany, or you
I'm
lived
from
in
Germany, but I lived in Asia for 3 years.
True.
You know? Like my body is adapted to beach life.
There's a really loud
Yeah.
digger coming, so hopefully you can still hear us. Yeah, when I lived in Vietnam, I actually missed the cold after a while,
Yeah.
because there's no seasons. There's just hot and raining, basically, right? Which was great. Like, I really enjoyed the monsoon climate there as well, but it was nice to have some cold.
It's true though, like in the summer it's so hot, it's so humid, and sometimes I wish there was a little bit of a cold.
And you can wear different clothes. You don't have to just wear flip-flops and a t-shirt the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, you can
That
wear
was-
different clothes.
yeah,
So it's good to have both experiences, I think.
definitely.
So who told you about Bansko? Just other travelers, or?
Yeah, I heard it on a podcast with Matthias and Uwe from Johnny FD.
Oh, Johnny FD.
Johnny
Is he Mongolian
FD.
or something? Or?
He's Chinese.
Chinese, okay.
yeah, Johnny FD, then Christine. I mean, I don't follow a lot of nomads. Sometimes when I go to places, I just look it up quickly, and yeah, those of the videos were pretty popular.
Yeah, it's Travels with Kristen, that's a good channel, and Johnny FD is pretty good. And
Yeah.
I was introduced to him through seeing Bald and Bankrupt's channel, because I think those two
It's so funny.
do some interesting Ukraine stuff.
when you watch how his channel progressed over time and what kind of people he meets, it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, some really good channels on there. Have you ever thought about doing a YouTube channel?
I have one. I made a video last year. One video.
You probably need to do more than one video, but it's, you know, you started, that's the important thing.
Yeah, I want to get back into it, but I have to manage my time a bit more efficiently. Like, where's the, you know, where do I want to focus my time on?
Yeah.
And at the moment, I'm working as a freelancer and doing e-commerce on the side. So these are two projects that cost a lot of time. Yeah, I still have a blog though. So
Do you want to promote it, or?
yeah, I mean, you can put it in. My name is a little bit more difficult, I guess. You can put it into
I'll put it in
the links.
the notes.
Yeah, but hi Ninh Nguyen. .com.
And it's about travels, or?
Yeah, it's basically my whole Nomad journey. So every month I used to write like monthly updates, also business progressions, and now I switched it to quarterly updates, because every month sometimes nothing happened during the month if you're just working, right?
Yeah.
So I switched to quarterly, and that's good to know. You know, like you can go back in 2019 when I started, and then read the last one. Sometimes it's really cool for me to see as well. It's my personal like diary.
I kind of wish I wasn't too lazy to do that, because
Yeah.
I've forgotten so much stuff. Like it's kind of
Yeah,
sad,
going back
like.
and seeing all the images, especially pre-COVID, how we traveled, how free everything was.
Hopefully we'll get back there again.
Yeah.
at some point.
So that's good to see.
So what, like, for anyone who's thinking of becoming a digital nomad, what advice would you have for them? What advice would you give yourself before you started?
I think the most important one is not traveling too fast, because especially when you start out, you want to build a business or work, and you need to figure things out. You need to get comfortable with the uncomfortable lifestyle, like problem solving a lot of problems at the same time.
What would be an example of uncomfortable? Like, did you stay in
Uncomfortable is like-
hostels or hotels, or? how
Yeah,
did you
for instance, when your visa issues, you know, or cancelled flights, like there's a lot of uncertainties.
things that might stress people out if they're not used to it. Yeah.
And if you travel a lot, you have to do a lot of travel planning. You have to, if you're in new places, you have to figure things out, like how to look for an apartment, how to find an apartment in a different language, where to go to work, like where are co-working spaces, where are good spots for grocery shopping. There's a lot of things, you know. And if you move like every month, you have to play the game like
You just spend a bigger percentage of your time doing all the same stuff.
Yeah,
again.
just for admin stuff and organization.
And you have to learn where everything in a city is, and make new friends. And
I mean, after a while, when you do it for a few years, then you get used to it, and then you go back to the same places that you like. But at the beginning, find a place, stay there for a few months, and then just to keep your productivity high, especially if you need to earn money.
That's good advice. And speaking of productivity, how do you manage to be productive on the road? Because some people have problems with that. I've had problems with that in the past myself.
Yeah, I think I did martial arts in the past, and that gave me a lot of discipline, and that really helped to plan my weeks and days ahead.
So are you able to work from home, or do you really need a co-working space?
No, I don't really need co-working spaces. The most important thing for me is like planning my days ahead. Like I use Notion for this, and
that's an iOS app, is it? Or?
It's cross-platform.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
So what is it exactly?
It's a tool where you can build your own tools. So. I used a lot of different productivity apps in the past, but the more you use, the more fragmented your whole system becomes.
Yeah, and then you end up spending more time managing the productivity apps and being productive.
And Notion is basically gives you building blocks, so you can build your own tools. And that's really amazing, because I manage everything in Notion now.
So can you give us an example of one or two things you do with it?
Yeah, so habit tracking, every day I have like a checklist of my habits that I want.
So good habits and bad habits, or just good
I
habits?
just like things I want to achieve a day, like drink 2 liters of water.
Okay.
Go to the gym. So these kind of things I can check mark it, and then it calculates me when I look at up in a month, how many percentage of the month have I done it. So it gives you some simple analytics where you can see your improvements. Yeah, so habit tracking and then weekly planning, and yeah.
So for the habit thing, do you go and tick those off at the same time every night or something? Or
Yeah,
does
every
it
day.
let you? Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out.
it's surprising. I've done this for over a year now, and sometimes you can really go back and see what actually created a bad mood, or especially when I travel, like my habits are all over the place.
So do you track moods as well?
Yes.
Oh, so you can see a correlation between
exactly
habits and okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Have to
Well,
check that out.
one of the coolest things in Notion I have recently discovered is the sharing of websites. So for a friend, I was creating like an apartment page, and I created everything in Notion. She didn't have to sign up for a hosting, a domain, but we created everything in Notion, put all the apartments up, and then you can tag the apartments and send the link, share the link very quickly.
Oh, that sounds pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Is there an API and stuff?
They're building. It's not as powerful yet, but I think they're working on the APIs.
Yeah, I need to check this out. I'm sure there's something I could use it for.
Yeah. Especially because it's so versatile. You know, everyone can just build their own tools. How it's working best for them.
What's it called again?
Notion.
Notion. Notion is not a sponsor of this episode, by the way. Maybe they should be.
And they grew up. They grew super fast in the last 2 or 3 years.
Interesting. It must be good. Well, if I do start using that, I'll make a video about it.
Yeah.
But okay. Any closing words or thoughts?
No, not really. Not on top of my head.
Okay. Well, thanks, man. That's some really good information there, and I'll see you guys on the road.